and he was to walk us home safely. So when we get out, Margie says, I want to go to that little store just past the drugstore there. I got to buy some spinach for my mother. There was a little convenience store there.
There we go.
So Arthur was standing on the corner waiting for us, and we started to walk up to the store, and who do we plumb into but Ike and Mike? So of course we had to stop and talk a few minutes ago, and in the meantime the store closed. The store closed and Arthur went home.
Oh, wow. You're in deep trouble.
And my mother said, what's wrong? Oh, she met some guy. She met some guy up there in the square.
Oh.
So we, instead of going up right down Washington Street, which would take about 8 minutes walking, slow, take 8 minutes, we walked up Columbus Avenue, down that street that went off of there, then down Townsend, then down Townsend Street, and sat on the stone wall under the there was a great big horse chestnut tree, all in bloom. Yeah, and Buck shimmied up and got some big blossoms.
Oh, nice.
So all of a
Good
sudden,
thing.
Margie says, my God, I never got my mother's spinach. She'll kill me when I get. So I said, well, oh, and then I started trying to think up some kind of a story. What was I going to tell my mother when I got home, because I know she'd be. But
Eleanor would fix
we
it.
went down to the corner, and Margie said, don't come near me. She says, you stay here like get up in the house. Well, Margie's mother was hanging out the window to her waist when we got home. And she shrieked at it. My mother was more ladylike. She said nothing till I got inside the door. And she says, where have you been? I said, well, I met some boy up there at the square that I knew, and we walked home slow. We walked the long way, and it took a little bit longer. And she says, weren't you supposed to walk home with your brother? I said, he went home without me. Anything he could get out of it. And she said, okay, that's all right. That's all. She didn't say anything much, But I figured that I was going to be hashed into brown pieces. And we had a date for Monday night, see. And I said, gee, how am I going to get out of this? I want to go. I was working. Now I'm working, and I'm 19 years old. And gee, how am I going to get out Monday night? Oh, she'll never let me go. I know she'll never let me out. And, so we lived on the bottom floor, and you could look out, see. And it was just beside there was an estate beside us, like a big old estate at the corner. And you had to walk by that to get the corner. And so I said to him, I'll meet you at the corner. So what is the damn fool that comes by, grinning in the window? My mother says, what's he grinning about? I said, well, I have to tell you, I have a date with him up the corner. And we're just going to go for a walk, try to make it easy. And she says, well, when you have a date after this, she says, you have him come to the house. I don't want you meeting boys outside the house. If you want to go out, you have him come to the door. Let me meet him, and then it's all right. So I got out anyway. But Margie didn't. She got out, but she didn't. Poor Margie. Every time. She either had a ditch fall at the corner and run alone, up into the house, or her mother would be screaming out the window at her. So no wonder she ran away and got married.
Did they get
Not to
married?
Paul, no. But when she finally did get married, she was in training for a nurse over at the New England Hospital. And she
It sounded
just
like
skipped.
it sounded like your mom had was very influential. Based on
My mother?
Your mother. Where was
My
your
mother
dad?
was alive today, and she told me to turn the somersault. I'd say only one. I would. I can't understand it how some people treat their mothers. I wouldn't dare to answer my mother back. I wouldn't answer. I wouldn't hurt her feelings. My mother and I had a very good rapport.
How about your dad?
Oh, as long as he had a magazine to read and it didn't bother him, it was fine.
So you like to read them?
Florence wanted to fix my hair. When I was younger, he loved you to fool around. Like Buddy, he loves you to fix his hair.
When you think back, what are some of your favorite memories as a real youngster?
Of what?
And your favorite memories as a little girl?
I don't know. I was just an ordinary kid.
But you must have something that you look back on and say that was really special.
Did you like the summers up in Vermont?
Well, we always went up to Vermont.
Was that
Until my mother decided I was big enough to help with the kids and I had to stay home, you know. But I don't know. I can't think of anything special. Nothing special ever happened to me.
What was your favorite Christmas?
My favorite Christmas, I don't know. I can remember one Christmas night. I can remember the doll my mother had under the. She had it sitting on the floor, and it had a Red Riding Hood cape on it. I remember that.
How old were you then? How old were you?
Oh, I was about 8. But I can't remember anything special happening to me. Nothing, you know.
When your father got hurt that time, that was kind of out of the ordinary. When your father got hurt.
Got hurt? My father got hurt?
On the plane.
Oh, yeah. My father worked, well, the war was on then, you know, and my father worked down in the Quincy shipyards. And he got hurt very badly. He was standing on the step of a train directing it. He was a foreman guy. And the train, they didn't see this pile of sand or coal or something. It was beside the track and it had slid and everything. It was a big thing sticking out. And as the train went by, it took him across the lakes there, you know. And they took him to the city hospital in Boston. He said, "Don't take me to Quincy, take me to Boston." And he gave them then his name, but they put it Bird. So we didn't know where he was. He didn't come home from work that night, you know. In the daytime, the policeman came to my house, and my mother was out. I was minding the kids. And they said that Mrs. Hood had been hurt very badly, and she was at the city hospital. Well, I didn't know what to do, but I went right down to City Hospital. I couldn't get any information or anything there. So I went out to my aunt's house in Mattapan, where she had gone for the day. And I told her, and she came home with me, of course, you know. And when Alan came home, and then he didn't come home from work, they called up, you know, and everything. They couldn't get any information at all. And in the morning, my father came to them kind of, you know, and he told them, gave them my telephone number and his right name and everything, you know, and then so that, you know, they called up and notified us then. That was when the war was on.
But he was working at the Quincy Yard then?
Yeah, and he was in the hospital from January to April.
Wow. 19.
And that Dr. Leahy that had the clinic, you know, he was just starting with this new thing that he had that built flesh back on your foot and on one of my father's feet. He had the whole thing was torn off like that across, you know, and they had build the flesh back on build this whole instep up on there with this liquid that dropped in a drop at a time, and it was making the flesh come. And that was one of the very first ones that Dr. Leahy ever worked on.
Yeah.
What year was this around?
18.
Well, I was about 15 maybe. It was about 1918, so the war was on. The war was over in 1918, about 1917, I think.
What was, describe the first time you went to a movie?
I went to the first movie I ever saw. We went to a movie. It was down at Dudley Street. And there was a lamp and a kitten. And the cat knocked the lamp over and set the house on fire.
That was a movie, or is that the real?
No, it was a movie. And that was in the story, and I can't remember the whole thing, but that was part of it. I remember that part of it. And that was
Was there a piano?
yeah, they played the piano. And I don't know, I must have been about 7 or 8. I don't know, around there.
Did they have popcorn and stuff like that?
I'm lucky to have the nickel to get in.
Did they have any refreshments like candy bars?
Oh, they had them, yes, but
But you couldn't buy it.
they didn't give them away.
All right.
No freebies, huh?
No freebies.
Oh, okay.
And later on, when after we wised up to it, you know, we managed right hook and crook. You had to earn the nickel to go. Nobody passed it out to you. You had to earn it.
Oh, from your mom or your folks?
No, you had to go out and do somebody's errands or something to get the nickel. You never got any nickels from your mother. No, I didn't from my mother, I know that. But you had to work to get 2 or 3 cents extra maybe, and then you'd go in the store nearby and get some of the penny candy. When we discovered that it was customary to eat during the show.
Made the show a little better too.
Yeah.
So,
When Bill was 2 or 3 years old, we used to go up to the Eggleston on 7th Street. Jeez, I almost had to take Bill with me, and I always got put out with him. He wouldn't be good. He wouldn't be good, and I'd always have to go home. And finally, my mother took pity on me. She says he couldn't go anymore. After I got chucked out about 3 times, she said, you don't have to take him anymore.
That you were glad about that.
Yeah. At least I got Saturday afternoons off.
You remember what it cost to go to the movie?
Nickel.
Nickel for the, that's right, just to get in.
Nickel.
Yeah.
It was cost 10 cents to go at night.
Huh. Was it ever crowded? Sometimes you go, it was just really crowded. Was it that way?
Oh, every kid from here to China would be over there to go in. I only went Saturday afternoons, and that's, they had the Heralds of Pauline and, other and things, stupid things for kids.
Kind of like cereal. Cartoons, did they have a cartoon?
I never saw a cartoon, I thought it was big. They never had cartoons, and no animation.
Yeah. How about the first time you went on the subway?
I think maybe I was going to New Hampshire with Alan was taking me in the train. We were going up. I was going on a vacation, and it had thundered and lightened all the night before and all that morning. And the train went at 12:30, and we got on the elevated train to go to the North Station. And the train stopped. The power went off in between the stations, and we had to get out and walk along the track and climb up on the station. They had a thing for you to get up on the station. And then we had to run from there to the North Station to make the train that was going to New Hampshire.
Now, this year was roughly...
I was 18 at the time when I went there.
That must be pretty exciting, climbing out of the train track.
Well, I was practically senseless from sitting up the whole night long. Bill and I sat in the bathroom. We sat in the bathroom because our bathroom just had a shaft, it had no outdoor window. And terrible thunderstorm all night long, and all the next day too. It was terrible. And all the way up to New Hampshire it was thunder and lightning, and it was thunder and lightning up there when I got up there.
Why were you and Bill in the...
We were afraid of it.
Okay.
we couldn't see the lightning. We couldn't see the lightning, We had the door shut. You'd hear the rumble of the thunder, but you couldn't see the lightning. And the next night it struck the electric thing in my mother's kitchen, the electricity come in on. Mm-hmm. It struck that, and poor Bill was right under it. He fell right in the floor. He was so scared.
How much younger again was Bill?
Bill was 8 years younger than me.
So you had to babysit Bill quite a bit then?
But not Eddie that much. Just Bill more than Eddie.
Yeah. Eddie was an awful funny little kid. He kept to himself. He didn't seem to
that's kind of...
He was a loner.
So he is now.
Yeah, it sure is.
He was a loner.
Yeah.
They're helping themselves.
Yeah, we are.
What else? Can you remember anything else besides Eddie being a loner?
Oh, those were the good old days when I looked at it. It wasn't so bad now.
Yeah. Can you remember anything else about Eddie besides him being a loner?
He always was a very quiet boy. He didn't mix with anybody, and he'd go and do things, and then after it was done, when he was going to graduate from the 8th grade to 9th grade, he was living with me, and he never told me that they were having a thing up there,
Graduation ceremony.
Yeah, one of my cousins was graduating, and her mother was there, and she says, "Why didn't you go there?" And I said, "Go where?" She says, "To his graduation." I said, "Good God, I didn't know anything about it." He never told me. I might think I let that boy go alone like that. He just never told me. She's the purest
Was he a pretty hard worker?
Yeah, very, only when he was a little boy, as soon as he was old enough, he got a little job for himself. Yeah, he always was very independent, he always worked and everything.
Well, did he have a good sense of humor?
Yeah,
He played practical
he
jokes?
He was quiet, he didn't have too much to say. If you hit him just right, he'd laugh, you know. He didn't have too much to say. Bill was a devil. Very witty and kicking his stitches all the time.
So he was a character.
Yeah.
How about Arthur? Would you say he had a sense of humor?
Yes, I guess he had. Yeah, he had a sense of humor. Arthur was a devil. He was a devil.
He had both.
Told him about that. I think it's funny.
Oh, Arthur was the son of a gun of a kid. My poor mother, to one knows she had snow. Her hair was just like Yellow's when she was. Arthur was about a bugger. But he never did anything to hurt anybody. He was just mischievous. And bad too. The woman next door had her kittens, and she drowned them, and she wanted Arthur to bury them.
Right.
And she gave him a quarter, well, 25 cents, my God, with a fortune. So he did, and she didn't give it to him for 2 weeks, and he was still chasing her. So he dug up the kittens and put them on her porch.
That'll get their attention.
Well, she lived right there. There wasn't. The woman screamed at my mother what Arthur had done, and she said, "Did you give him the money you promised him?" And she says, "Well, I'm going to." She says, "My mother says, well, you should pay your bills when you say you will." But she says, "I'll make him take them back and bury them, but you have to pay him right now before he does it."
Oh,
So the woman gave Arthur the quarter, and he buried the kids.
A little bit thirsty, Bob?
Ginger ale?
Ginger ale?
Okay.
Oh, you want the ice in it?
Yeah, fine, thanks.
I thought you might be able
Another
to.
time ago, Freddie came into my mother and he says, "I want a beer opener and a glass." My mother says, "What?" He says, "I want a beer opener and a glass." And she says, "For what?" She says, "Arthur has a bottle of beer. And he wants to open it." They were about 7 and 9 at the time, you know. So my mother said, "Oh, I'll take it to her. Where is he?" She says, "He's over behind the billboard."
What a setup.
So my mother took the glass and the beer opened, and she went over. Well, anyway, to make a long story short, he didn't drink the beer. Oh, he was the son of a gun. My mother used to keep a blind slat on the shelf on the stove to beat Arthur with. He'd do something and she'd grab the stick and on, he'd say, "Arthur!" And he'd run. And she'd go 1, 2, 3, and she counted as loud as she could so he could hear her. And as many steps as he took, that was how many cracks he got with the stick. Oh, he was an awful bad boy. One time, I can't remember what he did one summer, but she said, "You can't go out anymore now. You have to stay in the house." He did something, and she says, "You have to stay in the house now." I don't know what he did, but it must have been something terrible, because he couldn't go out to play. And of course, we lovely children down the yard. We were haunting him, cheering and teasing him, you know. So he climbed over the rail of the banister and climbed down into the yard. My mother was furious, so she took all his clothes away from him, and she gave him a red plaid dress, mine, to wear. And he had to wear that all the time until he served his punishment. Oh, my poor mother, she had an awful time with him. And then when he got big, he was the best kid you ever saw. And as strict with his kids, he wouldn't let them look awful. Private car that they carried the bootlegger in. The boozer.
Where was this thing? Is this in Massachusetts? Or?
I can't tell you anything about the dates. I was in so mortal fear that his picture would appear in the front of the paper that I
He's in
almost
Boston.
Oh.
Didn't he tell us one time he drove
He said he told us once he drove the decoy car.
Uh-huh.
So if they ran into some friendly cops, they could pay them. The car with the booze would be behind them.
Right.
If they ran into unfriendly cops, the ones they knew they couldn't pay, they'd take off like a son of a gun. The cops all chased them, and then the booze car would go through.
He wouldn't have anything in them. They just never cut.
Had a battle of science.
He was. He was a bootlegger.
And another interesting story in the attachment was
Oh my God! Every day morning I picked up the paper, hoping that it wasn't on the front page.
whoever he worked with was not in with the Guston gang from South Boston, which are a very notorious gang.
He was lucky he got out of it when he did.
And they went
He would have been in the mafia or whatever you call it.
He had a room up in Nicholson Squares, and I was saying this because I liked Al. I used to be enthralled by his stories. And he had a room up near Nicholson Square somewhere.
Yeah.
Some of the Guston gang came up to pay him a visit because he and his group were infringing on their trade. And he fired a shotgun, and he never came back. No, I always marvel because in later years he seemed like a deacon in the church.
Oh,
And I think about what he was doing these things, he was hard to imagine. But he told us that. So
Didn't say he used to wear the heavy leather jacket because then if they had to have an accident when he drove the car, he could pull it up over his head to protect his face and head.
yeah. But in later life he seemed like
I know when he was a
Oh, yeah,
bootlegger,
you
just
never
before
think.
Thanksgiving he came. We lived on Marmion Street and he came up the back stairs and he opened the kitchen door and threw a great big turkey on the floor. He says, "Here, I'll see you Thursday." Great big turkey.
Well, that helped you out.
Huh?
That helped you out so
Yeah,
much.
it was better than hamburger.
I didn't mention that to embarrass you or anything, but I just couldn't believe when he told me those stories in the ad.
Well, he told me that. He told me that.
And he was such
They
a
were abusing.
prim and
They
proper
were.
guy
He
in
was.
later life.
He
was
wasn't
not
in the
doing
room. He wasn't in the room, buddy. He was. He lived with Daisy and Pa then, and these two men. They were abusing Daisy and my father, trying to get information or something out of them. I don't know. And he shot them over their heads.
Oh, yeah.
And they turned and ran. They never came back again.
In later life, he looked like a minister.
That was the end of it. He got out of it. Then
Now
my
he's
father
about,
got after him.
he's about 20 years old now.
Oh, yeah, he must have been 21 or so, 22.
He's a couple of years younger than you.
Yeah, he's almost 2 years younger.
Did he look like, as a youngster, did he look like Bill or Red?
Huh?
Did he look like Bill or Red when he was a youngster?
Who, Arthur?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that Red looks exactly like Uncle Al.
Yeah, Red was the
Yeah,
picture of Alan. He
right.
walked like him and everything.
He still
But
does.
I don't know. I don't think Arthur looked like himself. I can't say. He certainly didn't look like Bill. He didn't look like Bill. Because Bill was slim and had blonde hair. He didn't look a bit like him.
No.
And Red was this. Well, the first time I saw Red was when she came home from the hospital with him with this fiery carrot top. And I said, you might as well call him Red Ned, because that's what they're going to call him anyway.
Yeah.
And it stuck with him all his life.
He prefers now to be called Al.
Oh, does he? He doesn't like Red anymore, huh?
He told us
He
that
told us
last
that.
time. He said, "Don't call me Red. I really would like you to call me
Yeah,
Al."
he told us that.
Aunt?
Aunt.
I feel uncomfortable saying aunt.
I didn't know who I was talking to, but I did, you know.
He's getting...
Because I'm age. How about
He
me?
says, I'm not Red anymore. I'm gray. Buddy had a friend in the service named Big Red Tony. And it was at that time I met him, he had no hair.
We still call him Red.
How about, anything, do you remember much about Alan and Freddie? Was he
Well,
mentioned?
they're just ordinary kids. Alan used to like to read, and he loved classical music. He had, so many real classical records, and he used to listen to music a lot.
How about Fred? We never hear much about that.
Fred?
Yeah, we never hear too much about Fred.
Your brother, Fred.
You mean my father?
No, your brother. Your brother Fred.
Oh, he's just an ordinary kid, you know. A handsome, he was a handsome kid, Fred was.
I met him.
He got all the looks in the family.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
handsome.
Yeah.
He wanted
He
to
died
carry
young.
that job.
Oh, I know. I heard
Died
that.
pretty young.
He
He
died when he was only 50
80
years.
years old. I
Yeah.
never realized
Very
he was that
sharp
young.
dresser.
And no children.
Huh?
They never had children.
No.
I remember going to his house one time when I was a youngster, and they lived in Newton, of course.
They let you in?
I think so. No, I actually remember being on the yard. I don't remember being in the house. No, serious, I do. I remember the yard. I don't remember being in the house, as a matter of fact. But it was a beautiful area.
His wife belonged to the upper class in Wellesley.
Huh.
She didn't look like that one night in your cellar, at a party.
Letting it all hang out there. Huh?
We don't talk about that, buddy.
Which was that, buddy? What happened at the party?
With the wedding.
Yeah, told me.
That was Marion's wedding.
Well, it must have been a pretty big gang there, huh?
Did you go to Ruthie's wedding?
Yeah, there's
yes.
pictures of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember a lot about it, because I was just a
I was
little
trying to
kid.
think the other day, you and Teddy.
I don't remember, but I do remember seeing the movies of you and Teddy and
Uh-huh.
coming out of the church with your mother and father.
We must have been really little kids at that time.
Yeah, you were small kids then.
I remember going up after Ruthie came back a year or two afterwards when they first were married, and I remember that he was originally going to navigator training. Pilot training.
Yeah.
And he was talking about going into being a navigator.
Yeah, he was a navigator.
Yeah, and at that time, I don't think I was in the Air Force, because this would have been, when did they get married?
You were very young.
I had to be
You were at the
young.
wedding, you were
Yeah,
a
really.
little kid.
But I remember being, at the time when he talked about it, I was, the Air Force interested me.
And that's what started the whole thing.
Well, sort of. Maybe that had something to do with it.
You were born in 42, huh?
Yes, right.
When was Teddy born? 45?
Teddy was born in
45, I think.
No, December 44.
Was it 44?
December 10th, I would say. I mean, it was December 8th.
I know, 9th, Teddy's the 15th.
Yeah.
It was the 15th, yes, good thing.
Your mother's was the 9th.
There's a whole bunch of birthdays right in that same time frame.
What was it? Good thing he wasn't born on the 8th.
I know, it might have
What you meant by that.
No, he was born in the 44.
I can remember, I was his godmother, we went down to
Yes.
Providence to stand up and your mother had a beautiful blue, light blue blanket that she wrapped up on him, before we took it out. It had been in with mothballs. Poor Teddy was overcome. He kept going. His eyes were rolled. My God, he's going to die from this. I could hardly hold him, with the smell of the mothballs. And poor Teddy, he was choking.
Well, at least there weren't any moths, right?
Yeah, when you were a little boy, you were a little bit spoiled before.
I was.
You'd say, you'd come in the house and you'd say, "What do you have for me?" The first word out of his mouth, "What do you have for me?"
Was I spoiled?
Sure you were. Sure. When I was playing one day with your glasses on, you got tired, you put them to the mail slot into your house.
We should leave them on the ground.
Yeah.
See, now I always thought it was Teddy who was spoiled. When I saw him here,
I never thought of myself as being spoiled, but I suppose I'd be the first.
Last to know.
That's right, the last one I know about it too, but usually the first one was more like it.
Well, you might have had a little girl before you were born.
Yeah, but she died.
Yeah, she was born dead.
Right. There was only two of us that died of the fire. That's what survived the
And
fire.
then John was born dead too.
Yeah.
What, there was another
Cord
one?
was around, Cord was around there, and that made
You
apparently
probably
they
had
didn't
two,
know it.
but there was another one, there were five?
There were five boys, yeah. Another thing that was interesting is Ted almost died. My mother had to do a complete transfusion
Yeah.
because of the RH factor.
Well, when Teddy was born, he had to have every drop of blood taken out of him and
Right.
pumped in blood. He did that RH thing.
Right, nowadays you don't have to worry about that anymore, but in the old days that was terrible.
Yeah, well, they
And
go
mother-
and get tested ahead and then give blood to him so
Right.
that it'd be late.
Yeah, I'm RH
Exactly.
negative, he's RH positive.
And everything was fine.
wanted to know that.
Yeah, as long as you know about it.
What's the difference? So when did you first come down to Wareham?
Wareham. The first day I visited Wareham was the Sunday before Labor Day in 1924. that was 66 years ago this year.
Wasn't the same lake, was it? Was it the same lake? Wow.
We came down with Henry's family for a picnic, and we picnicked up at the Wars place there, where the red shed is. Of course, that wasn't there then. Oh, the pond was so beautiful. The sand was white. And, oh, it was so nice. It was beautiful there. And when we were going home, that was when Vera and Robbie and them, they bought the land to build down here. And the next year they built the small, the small houses first. They built that the year Marion was born. They had built that. Because we came here that Sunday before Labor Day. We were married the next month. It's a long time. As the editor of the paper says, Mrs. Krug, the matriarch of Holland. He spelled it Matriack.
The zoo told us to spell that way, buddy.
You got a beauty editor.
That was in the Blackmore.
Debbie made a cartoon.
That's a little paper.
Cranberry School. It wasn't from the
Yeah.
Harriet. It wasn't
Very good name.
That was the Cranberry School, the little local paper.
You spell things right and give him a thing to put in the paper. He reads spells them wrong.
I don't give him anything anymore because you're very careful.
Makes you
Look
seem like a
something
fool when
something
it's
in the
on the
paper,
word.
punctuation, grammar, spelling. And then you see him back.
Oh, that's
He
good.
misspelled.
Guy spells worse than I do. At least I go to a dictionary. You don't.
Yeah. How much tea?
There was nobody here. I left
Get
here
that
now.
previous stuff
But
back.
my mayor was, well, she came long after me, to where they built their cottage. She came long after I was coming
Yeah,
here.
you are the oldest.
There's nobody here that was when I came and first started coming for vacations and things like that. There's nobody left. Everyone's gone. Everyone has the decency to die but me.
You don't ask when you're going to
I
be
did
born,
my
you don't ask
dance
when you're
in
gonna die.
January and I couldn't.
And again, you're 86.
Huh?
86. 88. You're 88.
I'm 87.
Oh,
I'll be 88 in February.
great.
They tell me that all the things they tell me about when I was sick in the hospital. Carol says, when you were up in intensive care, I said, was I in intensive care? Yes, Rusty was there. Was Rusty there? I would have loved to see. I didn't see Rusty there. I knew nothing whatsoever from Sunday night until Saturday noontime. So I did my part, but the Lord didn't want me and the devil wouldn't take me, so here I am.
Pope said he wanted to rest before you